Okay, folks, so I guess we're going to start with part 4 tonight. Yeah, so we discovered last night that the voltage is unstable around the IC17. We got our 4 PLLs. We got IC18, 1, 4, and 9. Pin 2 of each of these here are 2 volts. Or at pin 2 is 4.8 volts. 4.8 volts, 4.8 to 5 volts would mean locked. So 18 is locked, 1 is locked, 4 is locked, and 9 is locked. On the other side of these diodes, D12, 1, 4, and 7, on this side, you remember that the voltage was fluctuating between a 0.6 right on up to, again, 4.6 full supply voltage on this side, and then it would drop back to from say 4.6 to 0.6 or lower. So yeah, and that supplies pin 7 of IC17, which would be an unlocked condition. The voltages that would be going through this diode to IC17 comes from J6 pin 2 of the controller, or the control board. And the control board is mounted in the front of the radio. So yeah, looks like we may end up having to tear apart the front of the radio to figure out what's going on with the voltages from J6. So yeah, everything on this side of these diodes is working fine. Everything on this side of the diodes we have an issue with. So the issue appears to be with the control board of sorts. So yeah, so tonight we're going to have, unfortunately, dig apart the TS440. We're going to have to tear apart the front of this radio and get at the control boards. It's going to be a proper pain in the ass, but it has to be done. So yeah, we have to go to J6. So I'm going to move over to the other page here. Got another diagram drawn up here, and I'm going to show you what entails, what actually is connected with the J6, which connects to the PLL board. Okay, so right now this is J6, that's IC17. So now we're looking at the other side, the jumper cable. There's your J6, which connects to pin 2 of J4, which is on your control board. The voltages to J6 through J4 comes from pin 8 of IC1. And IC1 gets its voltage on pin 64 and 14, or VCC. It gets its voltage from through L1. It goes to J7 pin 1. It goes to J1 pin 2. It goes to pin 26 of IC2. It goes to J5 pin 1, which is the display unit. And as you can tell, when I turned on the radio yesterday, the display was going absolutely nuts. And it also connects to Q13 or Q18, which goes to the RF board. So right off the bat, we know that the display unit, which is also in front of the radio, is also affected by the voltage to pin 64 and pin 14. So the question we're going to have here now is the voltage on pin 64 and pin 14 of IC1, is the voltage on this side stable? And is the output from pin 8, which goes to IC17, is the voltage unstable between IC1 and IC17? Or is the VCC voltage messed up on pin 14 and pin 64, which gets its supply voltage from this side? So that's what this video is about, folks. We're going to dissect the front of this radio, and we're going to see what the hell IC1 is doing, if it's doing anything it's supposed to be doing. But yeah, so we got to pull apart the front of the radio. This I'm not looking forward to, but hey, it's got to be done. To apply power to the TS440, once again the radio had power disconnected for the same amount of time as it did last night. So I'm just going to connect power here. I'm going to turn the radio on, and I bet you the display is going to be doing the same thing again. Ain't that a coincidence? So we go A equals B, turn the radio on, to reset it. Bit of a coincidence going on there, don't you think? So yep, it's looking like the actual problem could be with the control board, which is behind all of this. So yeah, we have to strip the front panel off of this radio, possibly, to get behind here. I might be able to do it without taking the face off, but we shall see momentarily. Anyways, again, you're looking at the Kenwood TS440, and we're trying to figure out what is the cause of the dreaded dots. Even though everybody has ascertained that the glue in VCO5 is an issue, along with VCO1. I believe VCO1. Anyway, I know VCO5, the glue goes conductive. We know that. Everybody knows that. The whole world knows that. But that glue has been removed on this TS440. But yet the dots after coming back. So now there appears to be a problem with another part of the radio, which, with my reverse engineering of the circuitry, has led me off onto the control board. So anyways, that's the topic of tonight's video. We're going to get on the control board. Anyways, I'd like to see that. Hey folks, so I got the front of the radio removed. Well, that screw's removed anyway. She's just forward, facing forward. The safest way to keep this face-ish radio from damage or anything is to keep it down like this. So basically, IC1, which is way over here, is IC1, IC2 is below this board, and it's on this board down here, underneath this one. So basically what I'm going to have to do here is very carefully, and I mean very carefully, rise this board up, and then we're going to test some voltages on this board in here. Going to be interesting. The battery was replaced at some point. It's a 3-volt battery. Not sure what the voltage is on that yet, but going to find out shortly. See if the voltage on the battery is right, which connects right there and there, green and yellow. So, and it's your option switch there for doing different things on the radio, for different features. A feature switch, I call it. So yeah. So what we have to do is check some voltages here, and see what's what. Removing the front of these is not fun at all, as you can almost clearly imagine. The face is literally held by the 2 wire harnesses here and below, so when you go to bring this back up, and you have to make sure that no wires in here underneath or anything is going to get pinched once this is put back. But there we have it. So that's what we're doing right now. We're going to power the radio up. We're going to run a temporary ground wire from the chassis to the front, from here to here, with an alligator clip, which I think I'll put on right now, so I don't forget to do it, because the radio still needs its needs a decent ground to connect the chassis to the chassis. Alright, so less chatting, less talking, let's do some testing here. See what we can't get into with this TS440. Okay, so I got the front radio push down here, pull down. So now we're going to check the voltages on pin, or I should say IC1, the main processor. We're going to check the voltages on pin 8 and pin 16 or pin 14. Pin 14 and pin 64 are both VCC supply lines for IC1. So right off the bat, we're going to check IC8. Right now we have dots on 18 megahertz coming and going, literally. So what we're going to do, we're going to check the voltages to pin 4 or pin 8 of IC1. Pin 8 goes back to J4 pin 4, which goes connects to J6 pin 2 on the PLL board. Anyways, let's check the voltage on pin 8 of IC1. And we have 2.86 volts, 2.86, and that's the voltage as it should be there. And now we're going to check the VCC on pin 14 of IC1, and that should be about 4.8 volts. And we have 4.6, and 18 megahertz is just flashing between dots, and between dots and 18 megs. And as you can see, the voltage is quite solid. You got 2 microvolts there jumping back and forth, but still 4.6 volts. So again, pin 8, we have 2.86, and pin 14 we have 4.64 volts. So there we have it. Okay, so we've got IC1, which is right here with this capacitor across it. Pin 8 would be this pin here, and pin 14 would be this pin here. And that's the voltages I checked. So yeah, and as you can see, the radio is right her face over on her side. So now we're going to turn the radio on, and let's see if we can't, as you can see, she still dots. Coming and going, as you can see. With the PLL locking, I guess, or unlocking, whatever it's doing there on IC17. With regards to IC1, the voltages are not changing when this is flashing. Even on the lower bands, 14 megahertz and lower, and where she is locked, the voltages are still the same on IC1, on pin 8 and pin 14. So the dilemma is getting more interesting. Now we're going to put the front back on, and then tomorrow night we're going to dig into the PLL again around IC17 and see what in the world is going on. But anyways, hope you're enjoying the videos, and I look forward to bringing you another episode tomorrow. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed it. It's right now 63, and this is the Kenwood TS440 SAT dreaded dot syndrome. We're out of here.